is worth discussing about. So really loved having Pat Murphy up and on here. And then finally, our best guest, who now I can call Coach, up and on here onto the program, former NFL defensive end Dion Jordan comes up here on the program. I got to ask you, the name of Coach that now comes up and into mind, man, how does that got to feel for you, you know?
It's a huge blessing. Definitely a huge blessing. Um, I'm ready. I'm up for the task. But yeah, I feel blessed to have that opportunity to be called head coach and work with these boys.
So I will tell you, to kind of start with, your alma mater in Oregon. So not quite the story they wanted, but I love what Dan Lanning's doing. I mean, the Big Ten is physical and it's competitive. And I think with Dante Moore coming back, yes, Dylan Raiola is here, but at least he's here for the right reasons. He's learning, he's building, and then eventually will get that opportunity to be a starting quarterback. But with Oregon, they needed some physicality. They needed a lot of shutdown, and they produced a lot of really good players. So, you watch Indiana win the national title, but you still got your Ohio States, your Michigans. With Oregon, I feel like they're taking exactly the steps where they're trying to build up and eventually to where Dan Lanning can look at and go, this here is the team that can compete and will eventually win this national title. What did you make of it from Oregon this year?
I seen a lot of the same things, man. I had a chance to go to the spring game, and look at a lot of the guys that they've bought in. And you're 100% correct. Them guys are giants on both sides of the ball, offensive line, defensive line, and they playmakers. You've seen the way that they competed, and on the defensive line, they made plays, offensive line by protecting their quarterback, Dante Moore, and giving him the opportunity, to be as successful as he is. So I think he's doing it. I know he's doing the right thing, right? The other half of it I seen and been noticing is him having that, like, the ability to keep a lot of the guys there. So even Dante Moore, like, them guys get that chance to mature, learn the game, and play at, like, with the reason why they went to Oregon, playing big time games, and it's no substitute for that to prepare you for the next league, to the next level, going to the league. So all of those things, I see he got the place going in the right direction. And above all, he mentions why he's there. So being a former player or a fan, to hear your head coach, be very, like, strict and understanding about what his expectations are, and that's winning the national championship. That, you can't ask for nothing better than that.
So the Pac-12 is reviving, and now that we have new teams going into here, and also a birth of a basketball program that now has a football program in Gonzaga. So
Yeah.
you played in this conference in the Pac-12, and now seeing Oregon get a little bit more beefed up and buttoned up in the Big Ten. Do you ever notice during your playing tenure in college where you saw the difference of play style and scheme? From Pac-12 versus SEC in the Big Ten. Was there ever a big difference that stood out to you?
100%, man. We played Wisconsin. We had to play Auburn. We played LSU. They play different football in those leagues, for sure, 100%. And Dan Lanning come from that. So he understood, what those other conferences have done, those other coaches have done, and he's looking to bring that out west. So I seen the change. Us, when we were in school, we had some very good quarterbacks in the pack. So those boys, they were putting up numbers on not just Oregon, but all of them. So I think that was a difference. But yeah, it's they do it a lot different in the Big Ten than the pack.
So in the NFL, because we got a lot of stories now. So first and foremost, the Seattle Seahawks crowned as champions.
Right.
You've been a part of this culture, and it's a strong. The Pacific Northwest, they love their teams between the Seahawks, the Mariners, and now you've got hockey with the Kraken. And shall we see the return of the Supersonics at some point? But when I look at Seattle, what I loved about this Super Bowl, and I was just talking with former players and former defensive players, when I watched this game, lots of fans, as you already know, were already jumping the gun and saying, man, this is boring as all hell. There's no running up the scores. But what I saw, Dion, was I saw a classic chess game matchup between both these coaches and the teams. And I thought the defenses gave it 110% on both sides. What did you think of that?
I felt the same way. Even going in, like, before the game, like, you got quarterbacks of those two statures. Some going to have to, somebody on either side of the ball will have to show up. And they both showed up big time, especially at the beginning of that game or that first half. So it was very exciting to see. I was rooting for somebody on the defensive side to become MVP. It just so happened the running back, he had a hell of a game, and ended up pulling that off. But I enjoy seeing it. I truly enjoy seeing it. Yeah, just the Patriots, they just couldn't stop the run. That was the one thing that they couldn't do, and it just went the other way for the Seahawks. And you're right, man. The Northwest, when it comes to fans, hands down, they're some of the best ever. Like, me having that opportunity to play in Oregon and Washington, the state of Washington, yeah, I had a chance to experience it firsthand. And they're some of the best. They are.
So to your team that drafted you in Miami, so there's obviously news already broke out in today and yesterday. So they're making some serious changes. There's a new sheriff in town with Jeff Hafley as the head coach. Defensive minded, to me, I'm not sure what I may get with Miami, but to me personally, I want to see some brute force. I want to see physicality because, I mean, you're in South Beach, it's bikini season 24/7. I want to see some treads in those Lamborghinis, so that way I'm durable. I can get through the stuff. So they let go of Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill and a couple of others. I feel like this is changing up a bit to where the identity, you can see it as defensive. When you look at Miami, I mean, they have some pieces. They got a great run game with Devon Achane, and they've even got Jalen Waddle as the receiver. So I feel if they could figure out quarterback-wise and even figure out a little more of the defense, even with the secondaries, and then I can actually see, because you got New England already turning around the page, Buffalo still being competitive, and then who knows with the Jets. But Miami doesn't want to be behind the curve when they figure this out, right?
Oh, man, I hope not. That division and alone, it only take one player. The way I feel about that division, to completely make a change. I don't know for the Dolphins whether it's going to be a defense or an offensive player. I really don't. I have no clue. But seeing guys like Chubb leave and Tyreek Hill, it's obvious that they're looking to make a change. Maybe last year, the last few years, they were kind of all in to try to push for that Super Bowl push or the deep playoff run. It's something. Things are changing now. You feel me? As a former player, I just want to. I would say they just bring in somebody that the fans love, somebody that the fans support. Because the thing about Miami and South Beach itself, man, once they get people that the fans are behind, you're going to see it. It's going to change. It's really going to change. So I don't care if it's a defensive player or offensive player. I would want them to target a guy that that the fans want to see out there, and that's going to put on a show for them boys on Sundays. So yeah, that's the way I see the Dolphins, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be interesting this upcoming off season, and we'll see what they address up from here to shake things up in the AFC East. Two questions here for you before letting you go. Number one is, so new coaching hire, and I'm actually very optimistic about this one. But Klint Kubiak to the Raiders. Now, fortunately, you played here in Oakland and before going up and into Vegas. Yeah. So to me, this Raiders organization needs something different. They need a change. And to me, I feel like Klint Kubiak, offensive minded, but somebody that also is sticking to the old school, but then bringing in the new school technologies. So they got the number one overall pick. They got plenty of money to spend. It feels to me like they're going to go after Fernando Mendoza. I kind of say otherwise because I look at the offensive line, I look at a few pieces. But then there's also the chatters of Max Crosby not quite being happy with this organization. Yeah. To me, I said it like this previously on the show. I should do what Pittsburgh should have done before the season started, Because if TJ Watt was going to get big money, I should have moved off that, get some draft capital, and get money flexed up over. Then go and get Abdul Carter as the draft pick because you're not paying him much for 3 or 4 years. And then you can fix up the offensive line. I got to get some firepower because everybody wants to put up 25 plus points a game. So now with the Raiders, I got to get in some more players. I got to get more juice in this building. So what do you think of this? And can he be the be all, not the be all end all, but really be the catalyst that can help with this culture change that's been needing it for years, Dion?
Yeah, man. The Raiders definitely need some type of revitalization. Man, you know what, dude? Like, so when I watch football now, I usually watch players that I still know that are playing, coaches that have coached me. I got a relationship with Max. So Max and I, we played together. I was with him as a rookie, and we got the same agent. So I knew Max, right? I want Max to win. The Raiders don't want Max to leave. They bet they better not let Max go nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way I feel, man. I root hard for the guy. The dude he one of a kind type of football player. So, I mean, if I'm a Raider, I'm like, do whatever to make Max Crosby happy. Period.
Yeah.
Period. He's a one of a kind type of football player. Pass rush, stopping the run, the effort to run down the football, his football IQ. The guy played linebacker when he was in high school. This guy is see how big he is. He played linebacker when he was in college. Like, the dude I'm a Max Crosby fan. So I'm rooting whatever Max needs, the Raiders should give it to him. Give it to him. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what. Because to me, the Raiders, like they need something positive up into this organization. And the last thing that you need to lose is a guy that brings in a ton of heart, brings in a lot of hard work. And the minute you lose that juice, now it's all changed up. Now you're looking around and going, who's going to be my vocalist now in this locker room? So,
really?
Yeah, hopefully they'll figure this out at a good time. But, so I'm looking at San Francisco, and with Kyle Shanahan, there's a lot of things that we know they're going to patch up. So, one, they lose Robert Saleh to go to Tennessee. I'm excited about that one. I think a second go around and a better environment and a better organization, in my opinion, when you think about the structure build and what they're due. But San Francisco, they bring in, and I called this immediately. I was like, watch San Francisco somehow, some way get Raheem Morris for a reason, because they knew they needed a defensive mind. So with San Francisco throughout this season, the quote unquote easy schedule, everybody kept calling it, didn't look so easy the minute that you're in there. And I mean, you played in this league. Everything's inevitable. Everything's on the table. So San Francisco was fighting tooth and nail, different quarterbacks, different defensive pass rushes. With San Francisco, this is an interesting offseason because they don't want that window to close for them to potentially get back in the Super Bowl. Like, what are kind of the things they got to do?
Man, stay healthy. I think that's it, really. They have John Lynch there, pulling strings. John Lynch is very good at what he does. So for some reason, I have I don't doubt John Lynch at all. But they loaded. I mean, you still got these guys that they just aren't healthy, right? So the Niners are still loaded. Man, I don't know. I know John Lynch. John Lynch himself, man, is a hell of a GM. He relates well with those football players that he has. He has great relationships with them. So I don't see them having too much of an issue outside of just finding a way to stay healthy. Them boys work hard. I remember being down there with Coach Shanahan. And Shanahan works hard, like every day is real deal Holyfield. By the way them boys practice. So it shows the way the success has been for them boys. So just finding a way to keep them healthy and, keep them out there on the field, really.
So your experience on the field is now very impactful, and being a part of a coaching staff of youngsters in a D3 school. And tell me more about it, Dion, because it's an exciting opportunity to build these kids up and, building a culture, that you're putting in the body of work, but then at the same time, you're making a difference in your life to whatever life, your life path has before you, and where it may take you. So talk to me a lot about that, from transitioning from the player on the field to now being a part of the coaching staff, and what you guys instill as far as all together as a whole with the chemistry and what that's going to build, because that's exciting to be coaching around these kids.
Nah, it really is, man. Football is in my blood. And essentially, that's pretty much how I got into the coaching thing, right? When I initially retired and going back home to Arizona, and just going to my younger cousins' youth league games, and from watching it from the stands to getting closer and closer to the field, then I ended up just jumping over the fence, getting out there with the young boys. To Randy Starks giving me the call not too long after that to come here and come work at Eureka College. Uh, Football is in my blood, you know. So that part was easy. It's
Mhm.
like it's so easy for me to come around and do the football things. I think what I was truly needed, like what you were mentioning, like my next life path was that, right?
Mhm.
So getting back into ball was me finishing school, was me figuring out the things I wanted to do with my nonprofit as far as helping people outside of sport, just being a good humanitarian and working with my family to do those type of things and just growing as a man, right? And setting these large goals. So that's what coming back to the game has truly done for me, right? And all of the things that I've went through as a young man and the things that were instilled in me to help me get back on path, where even when things were going right when I was a young man, it's so much had to go right for many people to make it to those leagues, right? So much has to go right. So I do have a upbringing, a very good upbringing, and people raised me right. So I try to take a lot of these things and instill them in these kids. For me, it's a joy to be around them. You feel me? Because it keeps me young, it keeps me live. You feel me? I still got the juice, so I bring it and I give it to the guys. And yeah, like I truly want to see them succeed, man. Not only myself, but I got coaches here. Our offensive coordinator, our Coach Ramses, our defensive line coach, Coach Patrick Jordan. These dudes, they was bigger than football for them. So me coming in and working with these guys, it's like it makes it easier. It makes it fun coming to work because we all on the same page of what we want to get done and get accomplished. And I challenge my boys. I kind of put it like you got your professors over there on that side of campus, and then you got us over here, right? We want you to get a
Mhm.
degree in football as well while you're here. We want you to get better. You know what I mean? I want you to leave here and be able to talk ball with your friends and like the same way you're having these conversations with a lot of these brilliant sports minds. Like I want them to have to truly understand what they're talking about and say that they got something from us while we were here, man. On top of the degree and us being able to set them up for what they have truly lined up for themselves after football. So that's
Man, I absolutely love that, man, and continuing your future endeavors in this, man, and there's a lot of youngsters that watch this show and they love the stories, from a lot of these former players to do what they did on the field, and then finding ways to give back and to build it even further, and to be able to be in that position and sharing that experience with these young kids. Man, that's a once in a lifetime feeling. But then at the same time, it's gearing them towards for whatever life comes at them. And whether it be a future pro or whether it be, a different pathway of life, you're teaching them a lot of those curves. And so I really do wish the best of luck for you and the coaching staff through it, and hope the kids, man, because that's always fun. I'm now a newborn, I got a newborn son after 4 weeks, and I can't wait to be in that role to be, coach him up, learn a lot. Of course, I'm going to get the best sports minded guys that have been there, done that. But at the same time, I love to be around in that environment and be able to show them a lot of the ropes, and then build them up to what real life's got for them.
absolutely, man. That's what it's about. So yeah,
Absolutely. Well, Dion, appreciate you for coming on by, man, and sharing a lot of your story and especially what you're doing now. Really hope the best of luck for you and the kids up out there. Good luck. And may you guys have a strong and very competing season this upcoming year, man.
We appreciate it. Definitely, we appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Take care of yourself.
Yep.
Good luck out there, guys.
Later.
Oh man, you gotta love it. I love that. That's the best story right up from there, man.